All right, what's up, people? Op Soldier here today, and today I just want to quickly talk about um, kind of my opinions on Katana, at least in Mortal Kombat 1 so far. Obviously, people want to call me a Katana loyalist, even though I played multiple different characters in MK11. But what I will say is, Katana is kind of mixed in this game. I know a lot of people are saying she's underwhelming. I don't think she's horrible. I just think she has a lot of polarizing matchups, at least right now from my experience, from my, you know, 40 something hours in the game. I would say there's definitely a lot of matchups that she seems to struggle. One being Reiko. Reiko makes pretty much her have little to no options. I mean, outside of choosing like Jax or Kung Lao as a cameo, Reiko really makes her struggle. He builds meter all the time with his stars, and then when you get in, he has better mix than she does, right? Like, obviously, she doesn't have any good mix. She's more of a footsie character. So I want to stress this again. I feel like I always have to say this every single time I go into an MK game, and you can probably hear me like rubbing my head right now because every single time we go into an MK game, Katana always has the same problem that she's had in every single Mortal Kombat game since Mortal Kombat 11, I want to say. Well, I guess it's only two games. Well, you can make the argument Mortal Kombat 9, she played the same way that she plays now. So I would say MKX is actually the only exception on how differently she played compared to her previous versions of herself, right? And at least in NRS games. And what I mean by this is, the reason why I mention MK11 is because MK11 really bare bones this, right? Katana is a footsie slash aerial character. She is a footsie character that can take to the skies in certain situations. Now, obviously, as MK has continued to progress, they've gotten rid of a lot of her aerial moves, or like her really powerful aerial moves, I want to say, because she used to have like a square wave that was really quick, and she also used to have like instant air fans that comboed, right? And she had float. So she was a character that really dominated the skies in Mortal Kombat. That was kind of her thing. She was like, you couldn't jump at her, but she could jump at you all day. That was kind of, she was like Natara, but before Natara was a thing, right? Before air dashes were a thing in MK. You know, that's kind of the best way to explain how Katana's always played, right? She's also always been a footsie character. She's always had weird normals that have like really disjointed hitboxes, you know, moves that like clearly like she's extending a hitbox while like, you know, lowering her hurtbox or making her hurtbox harder to hit. That was kind of like how she's always been, right? That along with her fans being able to combo, like that's always been a thing, you know? This has always been a thing. They've just kind of dumbed it down to make it, well, not dumbed it down, they made it worse because now she has all these different fans that combo when really she only needs one that should combo. And that's kind of the issue that she has is her regular air fan just does not combo in the air, you know, at least not without a massive call out with a cameo, right? So the reason why I want to say this is because this happens every MK game, at least since MK11. So I guess it's only been two games, but the whole point is like this happens in pretty much every game where she doesn't have her MKX toolkit. People are like, what is Katana doing? She has no mix. Katana has always been considered more of a footsie character. You know, MKX has done this, I like to say irreversible damage to Mortal Kombat, where like characters all have to have mix. And that's why I want to make this video, because I'm not saying Katana is a good character. I'm not saying she's a bad character. I think she's kind of somewhere in the middle in this game, at least from what I've seen so far and how I've played. Now, I've been playing horrible lately, so I can't really judge my own play, like my own what do you call it, like my own like gameplay. I can't really judge that because I've been playing pretty horrible lately because of some life issue stuff. But what I will say is, looking at how I'm supposed to play her, she's clearly a footsie character again. Like this is always, she's always going to be like this. I'm pretty sure NRS wants to stick to this design so we can get like this pressure foots or pressure footsie, sorry, pressure 50-50, you know, crazy up close goddess out of our head, because she's not going to play like that. This is the second game where she has not played like that, and in MK9 she didn't really play like that. the best you're gonna get from mix with her is strike throw, right? And she had strong strike throw in MK9. If you go back and you look at that game, she had some decent strike throw in that game. So she's never going to have the mix that you guys want. She's not going to have the overhead that you guys want, but she's a very powerful footsie and footsie kind of zoning, not true zoner because she doesn't have a mid projectile in this game. So she's not like like an actual like sit full screen zoner, but she plays mid screen footsies. Like oh my gosh, if I could do it. She plays like mid-screen footsies, right? And she can like anti-air with this and stuff like that. So she's got a strong anti-air, right? So she clearly plays mid-screen footsies. She's clearly a footsie character. She's got crazy normals, or not crazy normals, but normals that play footsies. She would be one of the characters that have some of the better disjointed hitboxes outside of crazy, broken characters like Baraka. She's got crazy runaway game. She still has square wave. Her square wave has a better angle now. People don't understand why the square wave works like this. It works like this because you're supposed to run away with it. That's the whole point of square wave, is you're supposed to get the life lead and just run away. Like no one's gonna you have to air this, right? Which means you have to be looking for the jump in, which means she can throw you, right? Because air to airs, you can't react to jumping with an air to air. You can't react to jump in at the peak height of the jump in with an air to air. You have to react when they're already on the ground jumping, right? The reason why anti-airs are so much better than air to airing is because by the time they're in the air, you can still get them out of the air with an anti-air. So the whole point that I'm making here is that you have to air to air this. You're not going to anti-air because you're going to see this jump and then she's going to fly away when you try to anti-air and it's going to whiff. Right? You're not going to get her out of the air. Right? And that's the point of that move. So that kind of adds to her footsies, and the whole point of the character, again, I want to stress 1,000 times because everyone keeps using her as a crazy mix-up character, even though she has no mix at all. She's a footsie character. She's supposed to play footsie. She's supposed to zone out your opponent. She's supposed to play at this range right here. This is one reason why I really admire people like Ketchup and Mustard, because they look at a character and they understand what the character's supposed to be doing. I'm not going to name any names, but there's some people that like they just really want her to play like an MKX character, and she doesn't play like that. So again, I want to stress, I'm not saying she's a good character. I was very naive when I first started playing, and I thought that like, oh yeah, Kitana's back. And she is in a sense, but I don't think she's amazing. I also don't think she's bad. I just think that people play her wrong, and they continue to play her wrong, With that said, I did want to kind of point out some good cameos that really work well with her, at least from what I've seen so far. I don't think Scorpion works well with her. As Foxy has said, Scorpion doesn't really add to anything. He just does more damage for her, so there's kind of no point, because there's already there's already cameos that she does like 41% with. For example, Jax does 41% mid-screen and in the corner. Sub-Zero does 40% mid-screen and then like 30-something% in the corner without a bar. I'm assuming you're not using a bar here. And then Kung Lao, I think she does like 35% with Kung Lao, but she gets access to her quote-unquote low fan, which made her playable in MK11. So if you want to play Kitana like you played her in MK11, throwing low fans, high fans, and running away all day, you can use Kung Lao. And if you want to play her kind of mid-range / armored launcher, because you get an armored launcher with Jax, you can use Jax. And if you want to play a zoning game where you don't get zoned but other people get zoned outside of Reiko, you can play Sub-Zero and you get 40%. And you get to set up like bombs with Sub-Zero. So the cameos I don't recommend you play with her, at least so far, is Sonya. I don't really see a point of Sonya. If you want to play Sonya, you can use Goro and you'll still get that fake auto shimmy. This is a fake auto shimmy, by the way. I can tell you that 100%. I played some of the better players on PC and they don't get auto shimmied by it, so it's fake. But with that said, you can play Goro if you really want that auto shimmy. If you want to, 1-1-3, if you want the whole string, you can play Goro. Goro will make her DP semi-safe because they're forced to down one, but you lose some health, which kind of sucks. She's, like I said, she's a mid-screen zoner, so you can't really be losing health with a character like this, so I'm not a huge fan of Goro, but Goro is another, that's kind of your fourth option. So like I said, I don't recommend Sonya, I don't recommend Sub-Zero, or not Sub-Zero, Scorpion. Sub-Zero's good. I also don't recommend, I've seen this too, Frost. I don't really recommend Frost because Frost does what Sub-Zero does, except Sub-Zero makes it to where you can't get zoned back. So, also Kung Lao does what Frost does, so there's like no point. But yeah, that's my recommendation. I just wanted another service announcement about Kitana because every single time a new game gets released, well, I guess not every single time because this would be the second time, but still, this is the second time that a game has been released and people are like, "Why Kitana's not good because she doesn't have crazy offense," which is crazy. There's only one thing I would change about Kitana. Well, maybe two. I'd love to have low fan back so I could zone better. But if we don't have that, make her mid slightly faster. Make her forward 11 frames instead of 12. That's it. That's all I care about. And maybe remove a gap or two. You know, I'd like this to not have a gap, but it's not the end of the world. So, anyway. Yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about. Hopefully this video helped you guys. I'll probably do more Kitana videos. I've got some pretty good ideas that I haven't seen anyone else do yet, so I'll probably share those soon. So, have fun playing Mortal Kombat 1. Have a good fight, and I'll see you guys later.